This is Eric Fingerhut. I'm the president and CEO of the Jewish Federations of North America. Welcome to our twice weekly half-hour check-in on the crisis in Ukraine and the role of the Jewish community. As we've said each time that we meet like this, our goal is to try to give you timely information and updates about areas where our community can pitch in to help. Today, of course, is a day we've been watching the news very closely. May 9th, the Victory Day, quote unquote, the anniversary of World War II. It's very clear to us that whatever the specifics of the comments that were made today, that we're still in the middle of something that's going to last quite a long time and is causing real devastation and humanitarian crisis. And well, God willing, we hope it'll end soon. We know that even should the fighting end soon, that the humanitarian needs and the impact of this crisis is going to be with us for some time. So we are going to keep at it. There is we've been giving you updates on the refugee resettlement issues in North America. There's nothing new to report today, except to tell you that we are working very hard. I just came from a meeting on another Zoom screen with our coalition of organizations, of camps and JCCs and others, all of whom are trying to work together to make sure that we can have a comprehensive way of supporting Ukrainian families who come to North America, as well as continuing to try to find more ways to support those who are in Europe and who remain in Ukraine. So that work is ongoing. We'll be updating you more on that as we have more substantive information. We did do there was a webinar just last Thursday with between the Jewish Federations of North America and HIAS on the refugee updates. Those recordings are available. We'll make sure that you can access the links to those recordings, as well as the links to these webinars, so that everyone can stay up to date on the developments. One of the things that we've worked very hard on and are hoping to continue to grow is the opportunity for people to volunteer in the war region. The particular need that's come from the relief organizations is for Russian and Ukrainian speaking professionals who can come, who can spend some considerable amount of time and really, frankly, help relieve the personnel crisis and the stress and challenge that so many of our relief workers are experiencing. The first group of those volunteers has gone and returned, and I'm very pleased that we have with us two of the community volunteers who've gone over, contributed their time and expertise, and have returned. And they're going to share with us a little bit about their experiences. And also, I hope you'll give us some suggestions of how we can help others do what you've done, and encourage that support. I don't know, there's some noise in the background. I don't know if that's, I hope that's not me, but if somebody needs to be on mute, we encourage you to be on mute. The first of our, thank you, it went out. The first of our volunteers, of our professionals, is actually one of my own dear Federation colleagues, Anna Sazonov. How do I pronounce your last name, Anna?
Good. That was good. That was
Sazonov.
very good. Yeah, Sazonov. Yeah.
Anna is currently the Federation Chief Executive Officer in Columbia, South Carolina. She is one of our really rising stars in our Jewish Federation system. She was born in Ukraine. She came to Israel, where she served in the IDF, and learned more about her Jewish identity than she'd known growing up in Ukraine, and has now in the States has a bachelor's I'm sorry, master's degree in Jewish professional leadership and in nonprofit management from the Hornstein School and the Heller School for Social Policy and Management at Brandeis University. She was an Israel Fellow, which is the name of the Jewish agency Shlichim that serve campuses in America. And she served at Emory University in Atlanta. Anna, welcome. It's great to see you. And if you feel free to add anything more about you, but we'd love to hear about your experience, where you went, what kind of work you were doing, what you saw, and what you'd like folks back home to know.
Sure. So first of all, I will start by sharing thank you for having me here. For me, it's tonight because I'm in Israel right now, but to have you here today, and also thank you for the opportunity to help my people, to help our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. I still have a lot of family in Ukraine, so the crisis is very close to my heart. So when the war started, I was always looking for ways to help, to contribute. So, fundraising is one thing, but is it enough? And that was the question, the big question that I asked myself. What can we do more? How can we contribute? How we can share the knowledge? How we can get more people involved? And then the amazing opportunity and the collaboration between Jewish Federation of North America, the Jewish Agency for Israel, and JDC, basically to bring a volunteering group to the borders. And the fact that a group of people that have the knowledge, first of all, the language to communicate with the refugees made a big difference. What I'm wearing right now is a very traditional Ukrainian outfit, and I was wearing this at the border. And that's how I welcome people in their own language, because I speak Ukrainian. And those are the small moments that made a difference to people's lives, because they felt safe, they felt secured after a long journey of 36, 48 hours on the roads, avoiding missiles, gunshots, being through hell and knowing that they're home, they left everything behind, and then suddenly to hear somebody that is there to support them. And when I was in Poland, I saw also the amazing collaboration between all the organizations that we support. And I was so grateful to be part of the Jewish Federation system, part of the Jewish community that is here to fulfill the values of Tikkun Olam, to be there for others, to be there for our community, to be there for our people. Because this is the power of Federation. We're here not only to support our community at home, we support in Jewish communities all around the world. And that was a big moment for me to stand with others volunteers with the flag of Israel on our chest and flags of Israel all around, and to have all the names of the organizations there, to know that I'm part of this. I have the ability to share and help and support on a bigger scale. So that was very impactful.
Thank you so much for that, and we're proud of you. And I didn't know you were in Israel, so thank you for staying up late for us. Tell us, so you were on the border, it sounds like, and helping greet people and orient them. Maybe tell a little bit more about the exact work you were doing, and then what were you hearing? What's the, what do you think is some of the important ways we can be helping the refugees from Ukraine?
The biggest work that we did basically is to welcome the refugees once they're crossing the borders, because every refugee is a different case. Every refugee has a different needs. So we need to listen and to accommodate their needs, if they're Jewish or not Jewish. And we're there to support and listen, to hug them, to provide them with food, shelters, etc. And we need to know all the information around us in order to share with them the accurate, the correct information, because many of them have no idea what is going to be the next step for them. They have no idea where they're going. Great, they crossed the borders successfully. They made it out, but what's next? What's going to happen with their entire life? What's going to happen with their husbands or brothers or siblings or kids that are still in Ukraine? What's going to happen with their homes? They're not sure if they're going to be there or not. So we try to accommodate them, help them with as much information as we can, and to really make them feel a little bit safer than what they felt a few hours ago. What's going to happen next? We have no idea. If the ones that we support, the Jewish community, making their way to Israel, so our partner organizations, the JDC and the Jewish Agency for Israel doing whatever they can to support them. And then for those who make an aliyah to Israel, Jewish Agency and the State of Israel still accommodate them and support them. So there is a lot of things to do also in the after stage. So we have many olim, new olim in Israel, and I've been olah myself back in the 90s, and I know how difficult it is. And it's a journey that's not going to end next week or next month or next year. It's something that they're going to struggle with for a long time. And we, as a Jewish community, need to support them also when they're there in Israel. So as I'm sharing with everybody, it's not going to end next week. It's not going to end next month. It's something, this crisis is going to go with us a long journey. So there is a lot of work to do, and really support Jewish Federation North America. And, you know, the crisis fund is still open and people should contribute and share, because every donation counts and every support counts, and to share this information with others, because unfortunately now we see a decrease of interest about Ukraine and around Ukraine, because there's so many other things going on right now in the news. And this is my biggest fear as a Ukrainian, as a community leader, that people will forget about Ukraine. People will forget about Ukrainians. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen with the world? Because again, this is not only Russia, Ukraine. It's a huge impact. It's going to impact everybody. It is impacting everybody.
So Anna, one of the things that we've heard on this webinar before is that a lot of the refugees who do come across the border do so obviously to escape the war, to be protected and their families, but hope to go back. And whether it's because their families have been separated from the fathers and the husbands because they couldn't leave as they're fighting the war, they're subject to the draft, or just it's, you know, it's their home, they didn't want to leave, they're leaving as long as the war lasts, but they intend to go back. Is that your experience in talking to people? And if so, is there adequate temporary accommodations, or do we need to be, I know we've all been eager to welcome people to our communities, to take care of people here, but I have a sense that that maybe the situation there is continuing to be the focal point.
As I said before, every refugee is a different case. Every refugee have their own mindset and considerations to take, but the majority say, we want to go home. The majority of refugees that I helped, and it was like a joke, they told them, don't worry, you're only going for a short vacation in Europe and you will go back, and we're all going to go back to Ukraine, rebuild Ukraine, and you guys are going to invite me to your home and we're going to have dinner and to celebrate the victory of Ukraine. The Ukrainians have this sense of pride right now, and they all want to go back and be part of this. And I'm going to share with you guys a personal perspective. My parents are sort of kind of refugees as well. In the past 2 years, they've been living in Ukraine, and they came back to Israel a week before the war started. They don't have a house in Israel. We're basically right now running from one Airbnb to another. And my parents keep saying to me, we want to go back. We want to go there. The only reason that I'm not going there is because of me. I'm keeping them in Israel for a while, but I have no idea what's going to happen once I'm going to take my flight back home to the US. Probably they will go back because they want to be part of this effort and to support their country, to be part of this victory. So yeah, many of the refugees will go back home, and Ukraine is going to be different and stronger and bigger. And I'm happy that we're going to be part of this, because we're definitely going to rebuild Ukraine and the Jewish communities there.
Anna, thank you. That was really beautiful.